Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few, and you know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth, in this divine energy essence of it all, always reporting to you from 5D, the fifth dimension, the place to be. Now this is a take two, so you may see a double of this video in case I do not get to, chop and cut, because I'm not technically savvy like that. So this is that take two of Happy Sacral Solar Plexus Day. And the first part of the video was, I didn't even want to, it cut, but I did not want to erase it because it was just the information that naturally flowed, and I wanted to keep what was there instead of trying to remember what it was. So let me just do a take two, or a part two, to Sacral Solar Plexus Day. And this is about the sacral chakra, of course, and I was given information about, in regards to this being about the full moon in Scorpio, full moon transmutation, that this moon is giving us the opportunity to bring up what is coming up for us, as the moon does, cosmic spotlight, that it is highlighting what is coming up for us and what we need to deal with, especially as we're in this interchange of, from one timeline to another, closing out what we don't need in 3D into fifth dimension. So I'm sharing this, as I said I would, for the 7 days. It's a series of 7 days for this transmutation, right? As the moon is most potent 3 days before, 3 days after we start, 3 days before the full moon. And that was yesterday on the root, today being on the sacral. And so let me go into more of this sacral solar plexus day, right? So we have all that information. If there anything else that I need to remind us of, yes, please remember to infuse with the light. If you do not infuse, you refuse, which you have the right to do so, but be prepared to be fried on the grid. Fried. All right. And with that, also a reminder of, if you see this, please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare. Let me know if you're feeling any of these frequencies. Let me know how you feel in regards to the chakras. Is there any chakra that you're more in tune with? Is there any energy center or chakra that you feel like you need to attune to or tune in more to, like could use some work, right? Because we have chakras that we need to work on, and we have chakras that we're naturally attuned to, right? So like for me, it was always the third eye and the solar plexus, and I really had to work on those lower chakras, like the root and the sacral, big time. And for most people, it is the lower chakras, because that's where we get all the 1-2 hit 'em ups in our lower chakras, right? And some people, they just only know how to be in the lower chakras, and they don't give credence to the upper chakras, which is their spiritual self. They're not that spiritually inclined. So it all just depends on where you are, right? So with that, anything else we need to know about this full moon in Scorpio? It's highlighting, it's asking us to go real deep and look at what's happening in Taurus, what is bringing forth from Taurus out in the outer world, and what is for us to shift into and change perspective. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. Changing perspective, which we are in this major change right now. A lot of earthquaking changes in the earth, changes in your perspectives in the earth. This is all giving us that opportunity to do so. And it's very important that we utilize any of these type of modalities. Even if this is not for you, find a modality that works for you, that can help you shift gears into your next timeline. This is what I found to have worked with others since 2021. Well, with myself since 2020, shifting gears into the fifth dimension, and then 2021 sharing it with others in workshops. So as I said, since I'm not doing a workshop, I've been guided to share this here with you all. So here is day 2, the next day, the sacral. So the thing to know about the sacral is the emotional body. And as the root is the physical, the sacral is more emotional, energy and motion. It is about the allowing yourself to feel, right? Allowing yourself to really feel, because feelings are indicators. And when you allow yourself to feel, you know the truth of who you are, right? You know your true passions, you know your true desires, and these true passions and desires allow you to create. It is also the creative center, right? Its location is just a little bit below your belly button, and everything in that area, the lower intestines, the reproductive organs, all of that have to do, these are the body parts that it has to do with. So if you have any issues in that area, your hips, any issues in that area, that is the sacral, right? You know, so this is why they say a lot of times people carry, if you have hip issues, because it's the emotional body, and it means that's the weight of where you're carrying your emotions, in the hips, right? So this chakra is really that emotional, center. It's also about allowing, not just allowing yourself to feel, but removing any false restrictions. So not living your life with your foot pumped on the brakes all the time, right? Not choking life, because life has to happen. So instead of choking life, you're allowing yourself to indulge in life. Joy and pleasure is really healthy for this chakra, allowing yourself to enjoy life, and not malevolently, right? Not selfishly, but really allow yourself to enjoy, as in feel. It's the sensations, because it's the feeling. So it's allowing yourself to be sensual, and I'm not meaning sensual in just a sex terminology, but sensual as in feeling, senses. So allowing yourself to feel the earth, allow these feelings to guide you through the earth, as feelings are indicators, right? So when you sense things, what is it telling you? It's like, this is why somatic therapy is really good for this chakra as well, because somatic therapy is feeling, touching. It would be like being outside and feeling the leaves and touching the leaves, feeling the earth, feeling, if you're at a beach, feeling the sand, feeling the water, feeling the breeze against your face, and just allowing these sensations to guide you, to tell you how you feel, so you can allow the guidance of these feelings to guide you where you need to go, right? So if you think about it, the emotions, the waters represent the emotions, and the waters in this earth moves and carries, you know, currency, flow, energy where it needs to go. And it's kind of like that. The waters through you, which would be like probably your arteries, your, what carries your blood, what carries the water through you, right? This is carrying information, and not only just waters, but when you think of water, currency, flow, you think of the nerves, like the information, because the nerves are a part of our sensation as well. So the nerves, even though the nerves is really the nervous system is really about the crown chakra, but when you think about how the nerve carries information, it's similar to that, right? And the nerves do connect to the blood as well. If you look at your skin, there's a blood vessel underneath the skin as well. So the nerves connect through that as well. So it's knowing that these feelings are bringing information to us. So this is the part of our consciousness where we really allow ourselves to feel. So it has to do with the subconscious. This is a very important chakra that allows us to reach into the subconscious, because the subconscious is our feelings. The conscious is our thoughts. Our conscious phase of mind is the thoughts, and the subconscious is the feelings. So whatever we're feeling, when we allow ourselves to feel, we really start to pick that lock and tap into our subconscious. So this is why I said this work, this transmutation is a shadow work that really allows you to tap into your subconscious mind and really get that soul code, the codes that are in your soul, that are in your memory bank, which is, again, the subconscious mind is your memory bank. It's the black box of your soul. So this feeling is really allowing you to tap into that. And this emotions, inner feelings, emotions, works well with the moon, right? And this is why if you look at even the symbol of the sacral, it sort of looks like a moon or a crescent moon. It's circular. It's like the only one that doesn't have a triangle in it, I believe. Out of all the other symbols, they all have some type of triangle in it. But the sacral is just like moon. It's feelings, it's emotions, it's the feminine energy, which is receptivity. It really represents that, right? But when it comes to creativity, it has to do with the harmony of the feminine and the masculine, but it is mostly representing the feminine energy of feeling, right? Of receptivity. So in the sacral, let me get to what else to note about the sacral, what we could be doing interactively as well. So the sacral's element is water. The color is orange. So if you want to activate this chakra, wear some orange. I know this is probably looking peachy, but it's a light orange. Wear some orange, light orange candles. I usually tell people to just adorn yourself in orange, or your favorite color, because the sacral is about allowing yourself to enjoy things you like. Whatever your favorite color is, maybe mix your favorite color with orange, but orange is what is, resonates with this chakra, with the vibration of this chakra. And eat the foods that are of this chakra. Again, you can look that up, but it's usually orange. I always go with the color, so orange foods. It has to do with water content food, so a lot of watermelon, being that this is the element is water. So foods that have a lot of water content, honeydew, cantaloupe, water, the melons, all of the melons. Right? This is other foods that you can eat. You can look up, just look up the chakra. It'll show you. What else? Crystals. If you're into crystals, the crystals that call to you, I always say, but always look at the colors of the crystals. The colors of the crystals will tell you what chakra they pretty much go to. Tiger's eye is usually for the solar plexus. So citrine and carnelian is one of the main ones that you will see for this chakra. Sunstone also, but again, look and see what resonates with you. And the actions that you can do, I'm trying to make sure I got whatever information I could get, the food, the crystals, the parts of your body. Those are the main things to know about this energy center. Now the activities, always the lower chakras are about being rooted in the earth. It's doing earth work. So the next step, yesterday was about tapping into, bring it back to me, Spirit. Yesterday was about uprooting. There we go. Uprooting, pulling up the roots, pulling up what doesn't belong. And this time when you go back into the earth, now you're tilling the soil. This is about tilling the soil, because the soil represents your subconscious mind, right? Metaphysically, it represents your subconscious mind, and your feet represent understanding. Metaphysically, your feet is understanding. So it's putting your feet, I always say, put your feet in the soil, which is to simply say, get your understanding into your feelings, right? Get an understanding in there. Don't just allow your feelings to happen, because that's what's been happening. But this is saying, I put my understandings in my feeling. It's kind of like in the book when, in the good book, when Moses says, when God tells Moses, take off your feet, you're on holy ground. So take off your feet, meaning take the covering off of, not take off your feet, take off your shoes. Take off the covering off of your feet, because you are on holy ground. That means listen. Where you stand is somewhere where you need to listen. So you are in the soil, you are in the feeling. So take off your covering to gain true understanding of these feelings. right? So remove your covering. So whatever other things are going on, whatever's coming up, yes, you may have certain feelings coming up for you. This is where it's saying, it's giving you the opportunity to really gain a true perspective of what this feeling is bringing to you, right? Not what the feeling wants to dictate through the ego, because that's usually what's happening. The ego has a narrative. And once we get hit, you know how they say the hit dog always hollers. Once you get hit, we holler back with the ego. And the ego then pimps the emotion or the feeling and wants to tell us what we're feeling. So what we want to do is we want to sit that ego down. This is at this point is where you're saying, nope, I remove the covering. I remove that narrative. The ego's narrative is that covering. I remove that narrative so that I can allow myself to feel and gain the true indication and perspective that this feeling is bringing to me. So it's really important that we allow ourselves to feel, right? Vulnerability is a key point, because that vulnerability, by allowing yourself to feel, will allow you to have humility. It will humbleize that ego. So it's a very important step. So practical wise, getting in the dirt. When you get in the dirt, get your feet there, but get your hands into, if you can. If you got to wear gloves, I wear gloves. Get your hands in the earth, feel the earth, right? And you're breaking up the soil. Tilling the soil is breaking up the soil, because it's oftentimes the dirt is stuck. The feelings, our emotions, we're stuck in our feelings, we're stuck in our emotions. So this represents breaking up those emotions, and as you're doing it, you're also working it out through your soul. It's interactive, and you see yourself breaking up any feelings that you may have had, and then ask yourself questions that have to do with the sacral. Like the main thing is to know that the main block of the sacral is the guilt. Guilt is the number one block of the sacral. So you may want to ask yourself, where do I have any guilt, right? And don't be surface level about this, because a lot of times we like to deny ourselves or lie to ourselves about, oh, I'm not guilty about anything. It's not asking you if you feel guilty. Where do I have any guilt in the subconscious mind? Because clearly, consciously, you're not aware of it. So where you're asking deep, remember, feet in the soil, removing the covering, not trying to cover anything or protect anything. And where is there any guilt? And guilt are things that make us pump the brakes. Those are the things that make us put a chokehold on the flow of life. And we tend to not want to do things because we have some kind of guilt about it. Society puts that guilt on us. Family, traditions, things like that has you feeling a certain way, right? It reminds me of where Malcolm X said, who taught you to hate yourself? Where did you get that from? What is that feeling that makes you feel like this or that is a no-no, right? This is where we invite ourselves to look at those things that we have put restrictions on ourselves, right? Or have allowed others to put restrictions on us. And it is often through guilt. When you really look at it, sure, our ego may want to give us a story and say, no, I chose to do this because da-da-da-da-da. But no, it was put on by guilt. Somehow, some way. So guilt is what really chokes and blocks this chakra. Because think about it, when you're guilty, you do not feel free to enjoy life. You do not feel free to feel the sensations and allow life to shed this light with you, right? The number one thing that I could say, one of the main things that society has put a guilt on people is sex and sexuality, and that's why it has become so perverse. But sexuality and creativity go hand in hand. So in this chakra, it's really about having a healthy sense of sexuality, right? Not overactive, not underactive, not too much, not too little, right? And so it is the reason why it gets turned in it that way, because society has put this layer of guilt over people where they feel bad for thinking about sex or allowing thoughts of it to come up, and it's fine when it comes in healthy ways, right? And when you're not hurt. When you get hurt, you also close off, and you go into underactive, and you're not allowing sexuality to be a part of you, right? Not saying you gotta go out there and do it, but it's about how we think and feel about it, if that makes more sense. It's not so much doing it, but it's how you think and feel about it. Does it make you cringe when you think about sex or relationships? Does it make you tighten up? Like, then we have to look at what is causing you to do that, right? So when you free yourself up in your thoughts and feelings about it, it also frees up your creativity. So think about it. Some of you who may have creative blocks, you may also be blocking yourself sexually. Think about that, because they do go hand in hand, right? And another thing with this chakra, because it's the emotional body, it is where relationships have a lot to do with emotions. So the thing that throws this chakra out of alignment the most is relationships, because as soon as there's an issue in the relationship, it triggers the emotions, right? We get emotionally entangled, So how we're relating with one another and how people are relating with us, it determines how, our emotions are, right? And another thing to note is that the heart regulates these emotions. So the heart also works with this chakra when it comes to emotions. And when your emotions are all over the place, it overworks the heart. And this can put pressure on the heart chakra as well, because now the heart got to work overtime to try to regulate, these emotions. So this is why it's important to put our feet in the soil. Get an understanding. Know what these feelings are, good, bad, and the ugly. Allow yourself, first things first, allow yourself to feel it. Identify the truth of this feeling by allowing yourself to feel it. A lot of times we don't identify the truth because we don't even allow ourselves to feel it, because we're hiding. So allow yourself to feel it. Remove the covering, remove the hiding, remove the covering. Be barefoot and allow yourself to feel it. And yes, a practical way is standing barefoot in the earth. These are ways that we invite ourselves to really engage in the conscious aspect of it, just by being practical. So with that said, I usually go more deep. I feel like I went in a little, I'm not going to say too deep, but I gave a little bit more. I usually give a lot of this in the workshops, and I'm doing my best to not make it too long and give too much. The last thing is to share the pyramid transmutation. So I gave some information about that. The pyramid transmutation is where you state a fear. First, identify the fear, right? And as I mentioned, it's not scary fear. It's just fear-based thoughts and feelings. I explained that in the first video. So whatever that fear is, you write that down, right? This is you working your pyramid transmutation, because you're a pyramid and you're transmuting this light. So write down whatever that fear is, so just so you can identify it. Whatever's coming up for you right now, ask yourself, what is that fear-based feeling? What comes up for you? And write that down, right? And it may definitely have to do with what's happening now with all these changes, but write that down. And then the next thing, just reviewing, so for those who did not see that video, the next thing you want to do for the root chakra is write 4 I trust statements. And you want to go into your higher self by asking, by giving these I trust statements and I trust affirmations, right? So whatever the fear is, let's say you fear procrastination, your I trust statement, think about what your parent or the divine would say to you. Don't just throw a flimsy I trust out there. Just, say something where, if you're going into your higher self, what would my higher self say to me and remind me of? Well, it would say to you that I trust that I have come here in divine timing and I have all the time I need to do what must needs be done. So I operate within divine times. Just something like that, right? So you just to give an example, you want it to be an I trust statement that is coming from your higher self, right? That's with that. So on the sacral, it's about I feel. The statement is going to be I feel. You don't have to write it 4 times. Only the root is 4 times, because you want to really solidify that. That structure, that foundation. You want a strong foundation. So that's why it's 4 times. The sacral is I feel. And this I feel statement has to reinforce the strength of your I trust statements. So now that you have these I trust statements, read them again, feel them empowering you. And now, how do you feel? So the I feel is not to solidify the fear. Remember, we're transmuting the fear. The I feel statement is, how do I feel when I read these I trust statements and I'm beginning to transmute and turn over in my feelings. I need to change that negative feeling that was attached to the fear, and now I'm attaching a true feeling to the truth of my I am statement. So read your not I am, sorry, your I trust. So read your I trust statements, look at it, feel it, breathe it in, and then allow yourself to put a strong I feel statement. How do you now feel now that you see the trust that you're putting in and you're transmuting this fear? And allow it to be a free feeling, no holds bars, no restriction, no guilt, no nothing. Like, feel free to be as free and as powerful as you want to be. How do you feel? And that's the statement for I feel. And so tomorrow we'll talk about the next statement as we build. And this is a very important tool, mind you, that I'm sharing with you. I only do it in the workshop. So work this as much as you can. Gain as much understanding as you can about these energy centers and about the celestial bodies. Right? So that's with the sacral. I can leave you with an affirmation. Affirmation for the sacral would be, I express my emotions with being, not that one, I don't like that one. I honor my feelings and communicate my needs clearly. There you go. I like that one. I have my list of them here. I honor my feelings and communicate my needs clearly. I feel free to honor my passions and create my desires. All right, that's just a few, and you can make up some of your own. Strengthen your sacral, strengthen all of your energy centers as much as you can. Ashe. So with that said, again, happy sacral solar plexus day. Shout out to my sacral. Do what works for you, and do utilize this as much as you can to the best of your ability. It works if you work it. We want to freak the energies and tune in to tune up. So with that, each one reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light. Ashe.